All right, all right, all right. All right, all right, all right. Sister Deborah, prophetess in the wilderness. Coming again on this Devil platform with another message. And I will say this is a lovely evening, late evening, in which the Most High Yah has made. And I, Sister Deborah, shall and will rest therein. I am truly, truly blessed. I made it to the big 6-0 today. Today, I made it to the 6. Oh, it's a blessing. It's a blessing. It's a blessing to make it to art, what you call reach that age. But in the midst of it, you see all the cares of the world and the things that is surrounding that causes one to not even focus on the ideal of being or the age or being able, not being able, but the Most High blessing you to be 6-0. So I just thank the Most High for allowing me today to turn 60 years old. I feel so blessed. I really feel blessed. But like I said, and I still see the things that is before me, and I look at it now the way the Most High have blessed me to see it. And it's really a lot of things that has to do with endurance, the spirit that He gives me, which is a gift of endurance, the spirit of long suffering, the spirit of faith. You see, I'm telling you, the spirit of truth. You know, I just thank the Most High for just blessing me and just being in my life throughout these 60 years. So I counted a blessing to be able to see my 60-year-old. No, I can't say it like that. 60th birthday. Am I saying that right? Well, I don't feel that age, but that's okay. I'll take it. I still count it a blessing. Being so, like I said, so many things are going on in the world today. I'm covering the topic today. It's about vanity and vexation in the world today. This is what is before us. We can make it whatever we want and whatever we choose, but it is what it is. It's what is before us, even though we turn a blind eye and a deaf ear. But the reality is, everything is vanity and vexation. All of it is worthless. And I want to say something. Hello, everyone in the live chat. It's good to see you. I think about the Most High, and thank you. Thank you so much. I think about how er, in the last couple of months, the spirit of Solomon had been on me and just bringing things to me through the biblical, through the Ruach. And I think the Most High, it's just like, say, for instance, if you was in a history class and uh, the history class wanted to talk about Frederick Douglass. It gives you a book and it tells you to read about Frederick Douglass. And when you read about it, you learn more about it and more about him. And then you kind of feel some things that he went through and what he was saying. That's when I say that the Most High suffers Solomon or David or Moses or Jeremiah or Ezekiel, say these things to me, it's because he He brings me through his word, the book. He takes me there and he said, okay, now let them explain it to you. And I love it. I would take it to my grave and I would give it to anybody that's out there that really don't understand the power of his right hand. He can do that. He can do whatever he wants and how he wants to do it. And that's the problem with people today. They limit him and say that he ain't this, he can't do this, or he ain't done it for me, he couldn't be doing it for you. But that's you. Okay? That's you. But I see him to be bigger and greater and excellent and perfect than many. And I see him to be all that and some. So a lot of times when he's allowing Solemn and others to minister to me, I love it. And in the last 2 months, Solemn been talking about vanity and vexation and worthless in a sense, vain and just so many things he was saying. And I was like, okay. But late last night, I laid down and Solomon came back to me. He said, Deborah, you're going to have to adopt that because it's where you're at. It is what is going on. So that helps me to realize it's time for me to run on in this race, not stop because I feel I've won. I got to run on, you guys. I got to run on. And as he was talking to me, he was pretty much telling me you can sit on any mountain around about now and you can be the only one there and the whole world sees you. You can speak to the whole world from that mountain and it ain't gonna mean nothing. Not because you're not who Yah has created you to be, called you, appointed you, and anointed you, and predestined you, and have given you the tools, which are the gifts, to work that which He has called you to. It wouldn't be that. It just would be that the people, or it's vanity and vexation in where you're at. I can tell you better than anybody. This is what Solomon is ministering to my spirit. And I'm like, okay. He said, until I get to that point and accept that, then I can run a faster race. And the faster race he's speaking of is a race. See, when you run in a race, and that's one of the things I did in high school. Matter of fact, I got a scholarship. When I'm running a race, I can't be looking in the back and looking, seeing where everybody at. You have to keep a focus on the direction to the finish line. So that's what Solomon is saying. Deborah, keep a focus. Keep your eyes focused in your lane. You got to run fast, Deborah, to make it to the finish line. Don't look back. Don't look to your left. Don't look to your right. Just keep your eyes focused. And I thank the Most High for suffering him to come that deep to me. Because the way he was saying it, it was no play. It was just telling me that's where I am at in this day that we're in. And with that, he was explaining why you running this journey, you're on this journey and you running this fast speed, Deborah. You really ain't got time to pick up this person and to pick up this person or to stop to explain to this person. No, because where you're at, it is vanity and vexation. Every corner you turn is the way he said it will be. When he said that it's going to be like the days of Noah, don't cut out Genesis 6, Deborah. Don't execute the sum of the matter. And I'm like, okay, let me get to the sum of the matter here, Solomon. I want these people on this platform to understand. Let me get to the sum. Hello, everybody in the live chat. I believe I said that once before. So I get to Genesis, not Psalms. I get to Genesis 6. Go back there. And this is what he's saying. He said, now, you can speak on, this is solid, Genesis and what it was back in the days of Noah, during the time the Most High stated what he was about to do and why. He said, but don't cut out on the main part. Don't cut out. If today, Deborah, now listen to this. If today is going to be like the days of Noah, you have many chapters and many verses in the New Testament pretty much covering and sending out the warning of what it's going to be like. Okay? It's going to be like the days of Noah. But listen to the part Solomon is warning me about. He said, now you go back to where you were reading in Genesis 6, chapter 6, and verse 5. And this is where he's kind of preparing me for seeing everything that is from the beast to life, from the mark, the 666, the 12 tribes, the heathens, the Gentiles, the Babylon, all the other nations, the earthquake, the famine, the pestilence, everything, Deborah, you got to see it for what it is. It's all vanity and vexation. It's, if not worth taking your spiritual walk, stopping your race, slowing yourself down to try to pick up this person and pick up that person and get this person to see and get this person to see and get this person to understand. No, 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 that's not what the Most High is leading me. And he will not suffer Solomon to come tell me this. This is what Solomon is saying to me. Go back to what you was reading to them people. He said, you covered Noah back in the days of Noah, what took place with Yah in these people. He said, you got to expound on something. And this is where he took me. Genesis chapter 6, he said, skip everything you done told him. Stay on verse 5. And verse 5 says, and Yah saw that the wickedness of men was great in the earth, and that every imagination of thoughts of his heart was only wicked continually. Solomon is telling me there, Deborah, is what made me see people for who they were. And that all the wisdom, all the knowledge, all the understanding, everything that I found out that was under the sun, everything that was given upright even under the sun, even the wicked and evil things to warn the people, I gave it to them. I never stopped. I don't care about what they try to make it look like that I was and say that I was doing. He said, when it all said and done, I finished my course the way that the Most High sent me on that mission to complete. Because he never let up giving wisdom and knowledge to a bunch of people that was vanity, and vexation surrounding them, going and coming. So Solomon said, you get back there to Genesis. And you don't drop verse 5. Genesis 6, verse 5. You word him out on verse 5. Because verse 5 lets you know the mind of the true mind of those people back in the days of Noah. But when you skip verse 5, Deborah, you don't give the people the fullness. You don't give them the fullness. Because 5 lets you know what was on your creator, that right hand of your father, what was on him to say, I'm going to use my right hand to destroy everything and everybody that I had just now, which was just that quick create. He was willing to just end it all. But when you go through Genesis 1, chapter 6 and verse 1 all the way down to 4, it pretty much show you how right today, the men today try to hide really what they were really doing. And they did an excellent job doing it because they got the whole world fooled. All the men today, they have you fooled because they're not here. The reason why the world was end during this time. Why was he making a comparison to in the days of Noah? It's going to be like the days of Noah. But what you notice somebody done something. Somebody done smeared it. But see, one thing you can't smear out of this book is when the Ruach HaKodesh comes. Hallelujah. He's going to come and he's going to break everything out of its order. And what I mean out of his order, anything crooked, he's going to make it straight. Anything straight, he's going to make it crooked in his word. And when I say make it crooked, where man is smeared it, he's going to turn that crooked smear and make it right. You see? He make it right in you so you can understand this thing in a spiritual and truth matter, not in the spiritual way that everybody sees things and understand things. No, that because everybody says they have the Ruach HaKodesh, which is many call it the Holy Spirit. Everybody say they saved. Everybody say they're a Christian. Everybody have confessed and accept Yeshua HaMashiach. When I say that, I don't mean really everybody, but when you talk to people, that's all you hear. But the truth of the matter is, Sodom was dealing with me last night and today on this topic. He said, well, see, when you told them all of this, yes, it tells you how polygamy in today's, how they did it back then, that it interfered with what Yah is did back in the days of Noah. Oh, they'll make you think it's right today because it matches the days of Noah. It matches the day of Noah and played partaker in why Yah destroyed the world. You see, but they tell you that, oh no, it's polygamy. We can have many wives. We can do this and do this. It's not one verse in the Bible said we can. It's a lot of things in the Bible don't say we can, but we don't mean we go out there and do it because we don't see where it says that we can. Do that make any sense? It doesn't make any sense. But this is how they take on all of this here, wicked and evil. He said Deborah is vanity and is vexation. And loaded with evil. Loaded Deborah. And then he said, now, the reason why I'm saying that to you, if it's going to be like the days of Noah, he said, what the people are blind to, if it's going to be like the days of Noah, then Deborah, you got to go back to Genesis. And you got to see chapter 6. You got to read 6 from 1 to 4. But when you get down to verse 5, that just lays it out of how Yah saw it from heaven. And how did he see this day of Noah? He said, and Yah saw. And verse 5, Genesis 6 and verse 5 says, and Yah saw. Y'all don't get it. You don't get it. That's deep. Yah saw that wickedness of men was great in the earth, and that every imagination of thoughts of his heart was only evil continually. So Solomon was just telling me that, Deborah, you need to cap that in there, because what people don't understand, when he said like the days of Noah, the smeared part is they don't finish it, because the smeared part shows you what Yah saw from heavens that made him say, no, I'm going to end all this that I created. And we don't want to see it like that. Because Solomon said, Deborah, when you go back there and you read 5, it matches what I was going through. I was like, it matches what he was going through. That's why he began to say the things that he was saying. Everything was vain and vexed. You see, everything was, vanity and vexation. Vexation. He was saying those things and full of evil. That's what Solomon was saying. Everything. But see, when he was given the wisdom and the knowledge and the understanding he was getting, that was something Yah was giving him. See, that was something that he was giving himself. He desired it, and Yah gave him exactly what he desired. And he asked him what would he have him to give him, and this is what he wanted: wisdom and knowledge. So when he was given, he gave this. But see, what Yah was asking let me clear this up. Okay. What y'all was asking Solomon was a good thing, and Solomon was asking him for his good thing. Solomon was asking him for your spiritual wisdom, for your spiritual knowledge. Why you say that, Deborah? Because Solomon already had fleshly wisdom, fleshly knowledge, and fleshly understanding. Now he wanted y'all to give him the other side. The other side is spiritual knowledge, spiritual understanding, and spiritual wisdom. And that's one of the problems. But it's going to remain a problem. Is people believe everything lines up in the flesh mindset. No, no, no. You can't walk with y'all in your flesh, and that's sad. You can't talk with y'all in your flesh, and that's sad. You can't do nothing in the face of y'all with your flesh, but with your spirit that rests in your flesh, it can cry Abba, Abba. It can call on the Most High Yah. You see? But what Solomon was saying is, when he got to the point where Yah had gave him all his wisdom and knowledge, and he was pouring it out to the people based on what he was living and seeing, that same thing with devil. I'm telling you from the level of where I'm coming from, from the wilderness, being taught by Yah from the wilderness. Solomon's telling them the wisdom and knowledge, y'all, that coming from heaven, that given to me to know these things that's under the sun. I'm giving it to y'all. But what has happened with Solomon, he realized it was all worthless because these people wasn't getting it. They could care less. They weren't even involved. It wasn't nothing in them that really desire to know the wisdom and knowledge and the understanding that the Spirit of God gave him. So he began to tell him, okay, then I tell you what, then you better enjoy what he have given you. Since you can't receive the wisdom and knowledge and understanding that the Father has poured out into me to pour out into you, I tell you what, whatever gift you have, whatever you good at, whatever y'all has allowed you to have and he has given you, you better enjoy it. That's what Solomon was saying. And that's the same thing I'm saying in this message. Everything is vanity and vexation, full of evil. It would have to be if it's going to be like the days of Noah. Because the days of Noah, that's what was kept. That what was said, heavens was saw. Heaven spoke and said in verse 5, Genesis chapter 6, verse 5, and Yah saw. And Yah saw in verse 5 that the wickedness of man was great in the earth. And what else? That every imagination of the thoughts of his heart was only, not good, but only, not good, but only evil for a short time. No, continually. You see what I'm saying? So whether we understand that or not, that's on us. We're in that day. Like the days of Noah. It is no different. And we're thinking that, okay, we're trying to figure this thing out. We're trying to work this thing out. We're trying to understand this thing out. Let me tell you something. That too is vanity and vexation. It's all worthless. It's all even wicked. Because I'm like saying, okay, Father, if you said it's the beast because you told me it's the beast, and you told me it's his mark, then you have the whole world saying it ain't. You're warning the people, and you have the whole world telling them, no, this is not it. This is this. You got the people calling your name, but yet following the politics and riding on and believing everything that they say and do. What is going on? So when Solomon came to me late last night, and early this morning, and today, throughout today, he was dealing with me on Deborah. It was like the days that I was in. It really was. These people, nobody wanted nothing. No one wanted anything that was upright. And then as you go to Ecclesiastes 12 and verse 9 through 14, one thing I like about I think it's verse 9, I like what it says, and this is where you don't hear people talk about. All they want to leave you is that Solomon had all those wives, right? But see, the key to it, a lot of it is the reason why y'all didn't want him to deal with those women is because most of them, 99.9, had their own belief, and they didn't believe in the same Yah that he served. That was it. A lot of people really think there's not a man on the earth has the energy to have that many wives as our sick-minded men today think. Having those many wives, you got all that you need. No, baby. No, they don't understand having wives in the way that Solomon had. It wasn't considered everyone in his bed, everyone he had in his room. No, nowhere near it. But see, we take it because our minds is just like in Genesis chapter 6, verse 5. All our thoughts are wicked and evil. And that's what's wrong with our men today. They got a murderer spirit and a hate spirit, and they're breeding hate amongst the only one that brought them forth to life. Y'all, they could not come forth unless this woman took the strength that she had to bring them forth. You get what I'm saying? But the one that birthed them forth is the one that they got the spirit of hate on and the spirit of murder. And they good with it. They good with it. Does that sound make any sense? How do you think heavens received that? Every thought, he said, is evil continually. So I don't care what is going on in the world. Now what Solomon is kind of doing is he's bringing the comforter to me. You see, in a sense that they can look, don't get real with these people. And what he mean is, don't get tied up to where you're trying to plead to the Father for something that he already knows where it's going today, tomorrow, and further on. You just say, Father, let thy will be done. That's it, Deborah. That's it. Thy will be done. Because what Solomon had to do to me, he had to tell me, you go back to Genesis chapter 6, Deborah, and read 5. When you read 5, it seals the whole day of Noah. But if you don't ride on 5, I mean, verse 5 sums the whole picture up. The whole picture. Because it tells you it's going to be like that in the last days. But see, somebody they took that part out. And if they said that the giants, they didn't take it out, they smeared it. If they saying it was giants back in that day, we know that he's not saying there's giants in this day. So we know that it has no connection to this day being like unto Noah. You see what I'm saying? Because the giants ain't here today. So he's just saying, stick to what I'm being taught through the spirit realm and not listen to the flesh on the left and the flesh on the right and the flesh that is for you in your eyes, because they're lost without a cause. People are getting so tied up in so many things. Let's take, for instance, Denzel Washington. When you think of Denzel Washington and he says that the Most High has, he heard the voice of the Most High say to him, feed my sheep. Okay? Feed my sheep. First of all, you can't get on the nationwide television on websites and say that you heard Yah's voice say, feed my sheep. Because what do that mean? And who are the sheep in which you are to feed? I wonder. When he said that to Peter, okay, he had to not say it to Peter once, twice, but 3 times. Why? To lock it in to his spirit. To pull out the curse he put on Peter. Because for 3 crows that the crow crowed, 3 times he denied him. 3 times did he ask him, feed my sheep. So it didn't he ain't going to. That's how you weigh spirit and truth. It has hit the YouTube and other sites, sitting here looking with his hand folded up. People love him because of his worldly action. How is it everybody, not gonna say how, because that's what Solomon is working with me on, Deborah. It's all vanity and vexation, loaded with evil. So keep in mind, okay. He's on YouTube and on the media talking about Yah called him. I mean, he heard Yah's voice say, feed my sheep. First of all, the first time he said it to Peter, he said his lamb. Then he said his sheep. Then he said his sheep. So if Yah came to Denzel Washington and said, feed my sheep, why was he calling you when you done fed the world and still feeding the world, trying to ride both sides? But yet, Yah can deliver any and everybody. He can bring anybody out of where they at into the marvelous light. He can bring the unjust to the just. He can bring the unrighteous to righteousness. Y'all can do that. I know he can. And not that can be anybody, he can do that too. Okay? But when Yah called you and say, feed my sheep, you ain't got no business looking to the right. Let me get on nationwide television. Let me get on YouTube and say, Yah told me, get busy, brother. If you heard the voice of the Most High Yah, get rolling, get busy about his word. Be about that Father's business. If he said, feed his sheep. The first thing you should have did was drop everything in the world and come to him. You see? And get busy on the calling you say he put on your life. You ain't got no business advertising, making yourself known that, oh, the Most High has called me and said, feed my sheep. But what he wants you to feed them? What is it he wants you to feed his sheep in this day? What can you feed his sheep in this day? Well, yes, y'all can deliver him. He can bring him to his bosom. He can change him. He can do whatever he want to do with whatever he want to do. That's how he rumble. And that's how he can roll. But he said, I hear his voice say, if it was so, I called Denzel Washington. If it was so, it would fool my very elect. Because it can't fool those that I've called and molded and shaped from the potter's clay to not be fooled. So the sheep that he said he should feed, I don't know who they are. I don't know who they are. I know who it is. I don't know who they are. No, I just say I don't know who they are. But they ain't spirit and truth. I put it like that. Yeah, he might have told you can feed your sheep. Everybody who's willing to stand up and call you somebody in Yah, and you have no example, or you ain't walking nowhere in him, and everybody can see that, and especially the heathens in the world. Let's go to another. China. She played in the Disney movies. China I ain't gonna say she almost had me. I ain't gonna even lie like that. Sister girl was on there crying and moaning and really sharp speaking and knowing how to say those words and put them to pieces. Y'all better watch people who's able to do that. That girl would sit up and cozy, have her coffee and have her whatever she's drinking and be eating up people on YouTube and on her media. Eating them up with the word of the Most High God. Eating them up. And everybody, ooh, she's truly a woman of Yah. And you heard pastors. That weak ones, let me say that. Oh, she's saved and she's this and she's that. Wait a minute. Look where she's at today. Look what she's doing now. Go on the internet and see what things she's involved in right now. Witchcraft and voodoo and Satanism. Is it something she make money? Yeah, she makes money from it. Whatever she's doing, you either know whose side you on. Now, see, I'm like saying 6 months almost. It's been 6 months to almost a year since the. It's been almost a year. She's been cuddling up on the media, talking about the Bible and breaking it down. Why she know that Christians that believe in more than one God, oh, she had it mastered. But then I looked, I said, something wrong with that picture. And I said something to a couple of things she said, and I got a lot of people to hear what I was said, and they were expounded on it. That makes sense. Because if you can talk all day and all night, and that's what Sister Deborah, how she feel. If you ain't walking up in spirit and truth, you ain't talking about nothing. Yeah, you telling these people who your fans and who love you because you somebody that's been on television for years. That's the only audience that you winning. You ain't winning nobody else. Not nobody. So a lot of times it's such a blessing to have that gift to discern. It is so a blessing to have a spirit of discerning. Oh, because that spirit of discerning, it'll discern a person up and it'll discern them down. I'm talking, it can really let you know who's who and what's what. So 3 days ago, she's been popping up every morning on the phone, and I'm like, why does her keep coming up here? But she's doing. They talking about it in the news, in the media, how she and her sister and them all decide to come back and do a thing regarding Halloween, but it's really witchcraft and voodoo and all that old Satanism mess. Now I'm like saying, is this the same sister? Her and her sister them as well, sitting here talking, the Father this and my life has been ever changed. But why are you walking? Because those who they have sold out to, it is hard for them to just let go and let y'all. It's hard, and it's hard, and I couldn't imagine how hard, but I feel that it's so hard for Oprah to do for Negroes. It ain't that she don't want to. It's hard for Tyler Perry to not put any effort to show he's helping his people. They already done told them your head is off if you look that way. That's why Oprah went way over in Africa somewhere. And I heard several Negro pastors, young pastors, talking about they doing our people from Haiti this way and that way. And I'm saying to myself, why would you think that they are the same nation as you are? What make it's just so this is what Solomon was saying. Deborah, it is so much you need to take your butt back to Genesis and go over. And he said, you don't have to go Genesis 6, 1-4. Cut all that out. Just drop down to 5. And when he took me there, I was like, wait a minute, Solomon. How do you do that? Because I never gave 5 of Genesis 6, verse 5 any weight. Never gave it away. I gave maybe because I was trying to show you really where polygamy played a role in what he says the days of Noah. You see? And what they're going to be doing. And I was trying to weigh on that, but he knew somewhere in it that the biggest thing that should have been looked at was verse 5. Genesis 6, verse 5. It tells you the mind of Yah. What do you mean the mind? First thing it says, and Yah saw. And based on what he saw, he ended. You see what I'm saying? Because, okay, so Sister Deborah can say anything and you can hear her. But if you see it with your own eyes, oh man, it's heavy. It's heavy. If you see it with your own eyes, it's heavy. You see what I'm saying? So what Solomon wanted me to do is go back and go over that, because I did cover that, but he was saying there's a lot of weight in there because he wanted me to understand that's where he was. That is exactly where he was in his walk with the Most High God. Is where the people mindset were. He said, now listen to this here. In Ecclesiastes chapter 12, Ecclesiastes chapter 12, you see here in verse 9. And as I was seeing this, and I think about, we're going to bump it up to verse 8. As I seen this, I was thinking about how they have rubbed all kind of ways toward teaching Solomon. And they fail to realize, Yah asked him, what would he desire? What would he want him to give him? And Solomon already knew straight off, I got all the wealth of my father and some. So all I can need is wisdom and knowledge, to know the things that is under the sun. I don't need to know what's in the heavens. I ain't asking for that. Just give me everything I can learn under the sun. And when Yah honored that, he received all that. In the midst of him receiving it and understanding it and learning it, he looked at everything under the sun to be vanity, vexation, wicked, and evil. And that's what Sister Deborah is at. And I've been there for a little while, quite a while. So a lot of people might look at me and say, when she speaks, she got a high pitch. You don't know where I'm coming from. And you don't know where I've been in Yah. You see what I'm saying? It's the reason why my voice is pitched. It's the reason why I don't pronounce the words the perfect way, calm and collect, the way people role play. They got on clown clothes. It ain't time for that. It never been. You got to be about what Yah called you to be. And what did he say? I'm not coming for those who can perfect the role. I'm coming from those who can walk my role. See, not that they can cover it up and look, tie my head and look like they want me to look. Act like they want me to act. Speak humble like they want me to speak humble. I speak as Yah. The Spirit of the Most High Yah gives me the strength to speak. You see? And it doesn't matter if the wind understands, Sister Deborah. It don't matter if nobody else do. The wind takes every word. That's why nothing comes back void. The Most High. He said it. It's not coming back void. And because I'm saying it, don't mean if I didn't have not one person listening, it doesn't matter. He taught me for quite some time. You speak it, and the wind will receive it. And it'll take it even to that one. And I think that's beautiful. That is beautiful. That let people understand that it's not about being addicted to people on these platforms. Being dedicated and, I got to be on here. I got to say this. I got to think this. I got to feel this. I got to praise him. I got to love. No, that's role playing. Let's be about the Father and what he stands for, which is spirit and truth. So as Solomon was telling me this, listen to this, you guys. Ecclesiastes chapter 12, verse 8. You're going to start with verse 8. Vanity of vanities, said the preacher. That's Solomon. All is vanity. You see? Now, this was during Solomon's time. You see? Now, why would he say that? Because Yah allowed him to understand wisdom and knowledge from where? The spiritual realm regarding what's under the sun. And that's all Sister Deborah been saying since she's been on here. I'm a student of the Ruach, and I'm taught from the wilderness. That's no different than Solomon. Solomon was given the wisdom and knowledge. I'm taught it from the wilderness. But the Ruach HaKodesh is in me. So that's even greater than what Solomon had. But yet equal. That's deep, if you call it. So I say unto you all, listen to Solomon again in Ecclesiastes chapter 12. That's why Solomon was telling me, Deborah, when you need to go on back to Genesis and you need to cover verse 5. Because verse 5 kind of give you an insight of some more things that I was telling you I was feeling like you felt. and like you're feeling. So I'm going to give y'all the conclusion to it all of the whole matter. Now watch this here. He says in Ecclesiastes chapter 12, verse 8, vanity and vanities, said the preacher. All is vanity. Verse 9, and moreover, because the preacher was wise. Now, what kind of wise was Solomon? Wise in the spirit realm. How would you say that? Because Yah asked him, what is it that he desired from him? And it was wisdom and knowledge. Sister Deborah been on here telling you all there's two wisdom. One in the flesh, one in the spirit. There's two knowledge. One in the flesh, there's one in the spirit. There's two understanding. One in the flesh and one in the spirit. There's one eye in the spirit. There's two eyes in the flesh. There's one ear in the spirit. There's two ears in the flesh. You have to be able to see what battles. So he said, the Most High said, these two, there's two, y'all, they battle with each other all the time to kill and destroy. You see? Always battling, but the flesh always overpower the spirit. The spirit is so willing. The spirit wants to do what's right. But the flesh say, no, you're going to learn my wisdom. You're going to learn my understanding. And you're going to have my knowledge. So Solomon, listen to this. Verse 9, Ecclesiastes chapter 12, verse 9. And moreover, because the preacher was wise, he was wise in the spirit, you guys. So when you hear Sister Deborah say, the reason why this person can't be this and this person can't be that, it's spirit. It's you have to, because I weigh them in spirit and truth. That's why I always say in spirit and truth. Come on, rumble on that end. Because see, they don't know how to rumble that way. They only know the rumbling in the flesh. That's why they can how would he say it? Precept and line and little here and whoop you with Torah and whoop you with Hebrew. It's because that way they can get you, but they can only get you in the flesh. Your spirit knows better. That's why Adam and Eve, they spirit knew better, but they decided to do what the flesh wanted. After all that the spirit had invested them in them, they chose. How would you say that the spirit had invested in them? Because they didn't know no sin. So it was a lot invested in it. But what happened? And this is the reason why you see this, you all. It's not about if she took that or he took. It's about Yah showing you when he brought it down to the earth. And he brought the angels here. Everybody knowing, he knowing everywhere who's who and everybody who's who and who's what. He knows who's written already in the book that's down here. He knew that before the foundation of the world. So we're thinking really it's about Hebrew Israelite. It's we the people, the promised land. But when it all said and done, it's the beautiful part that I like. When that new Jerusalem come down, you're not going to see all these mouths and all these ones that said we the people, we just going to walk in no matter what. And that's where the biggest spirit that Solomon is trying to inform me that is resting in this day. They got the wrong wicked spirits and the wicked thoughts. So I like to understand, how is it that y'all gonna match? I don't know where this is coming from. Father, hold me now, hold me. I don't know where this is coming from. How is it the Most High gonna ensure and match it to be like the days of Noah and let you live eternal? And then he destroyed the whole earth. It don't make sense, y'all. It don't make sense. If he looks over here and say in the last days, in the evil days, that it's going to be like the days of Noah. Wait a minute. Hold up. What would be the title of that day of Noah? Yah destroyed the world, earth, the people, the earth, the whole everything. So if that took place in the days of Noah, and here we are in the last days, and everybody's going to live because they Hebrew Israelites, and they're following the whole wicked of what? Go back to what? Genesis chapter 6, verse 5. And y'all saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every imagination of the thoughts of his heart were only evil continually. But he's going to get in this day and time, in this day and time, in the last evil days like no other. And we all gonna get ready to march in the New Jerusalem after. I mean, no, we all going over to the Promised Land. So, and after we're going to the New Jerusalem because it's the new heaven. It's meant for us. Does that make any sense? You're gonna end the whole world, but then you're gonna say in the New Testament it's gonna be like the day of Noah, which is matching what you did in the beginning, destroying the world. But all these people gonna be able to walk on in. Come on now, y'all. But what's the sense of reminding us of the days of Noah? It's to show you how much evil and wicked. It breaks it back down to verse 5. That's what Solomon is telling me. So he was explaining to me, I'm going to kind of sum this up. He was just sharing with me is that when you talk, Deborah, about the mark, when you talk about the beast, the false prophets, the the jab, the biochemical that has been dispersed among the people. When you talk about all of it, guess what he's telling me? Guess what, Deborah? It's all vain, vanity, and vexation. It's worthless. And you know what? I kind of already knew it. But I said, since I'm going to have to still walk this time, I'm going to talk this time. But it feels so good to get the comforter that assure me that Solomon knows what he said and to keep it in mind. See, when you're taught from the wilderness, y'all come with all authors of all the book. And he'll tell them what it's like. You see? Who's really teaching me this? The Ruach HaKodesh. But he allowing the author that those that walk them days to come deep to me in a way that's so beautiful. So I can understand there's nothing that's taking place like it was in the days of Noah. You can go to all these men and tell them polygamy ain't right and this is wrong. This is where it says, and you can show them a million of anything. It doesn't matter, Deborah. And that's what Solomon went on to say. But I'm going to tell you what he summed it up with me. Solomon said, because I was really confused with this. Solomon said, and I didn't care for it. Solomon said, anything that you have, enjoy it. Solomon said, anything that you have achieved or you have or received, enjoy it. Enjoy it because that's your portion. Meaning that is what Yah allowed you to have in that day, in this day. He said, so enjoy it. That is beautiful. I did not like to hear Solomon say that for nothing. Oh, I didn't like Solomon say it. But now it's beautiful in my spirit. Because what he's saying, you better enjoy because that's your portion. That's your portion. So enjoy. That means enjoy what is before you. Because that's all you want is what you can enjoy for this moment. And later, there's nothing for you. Since everything that is before you, you enjoy it, know that that's your portion. So it makes so much sense. And that's when he began to enjoy what he had. Because he had gotten to the point where, okay, it's all vain and vast. The beauty of it for me and for, I say, millions and millions of people, the beauty of it for me is I understand way before I even listened to Solomon. I read Solomon Ecclesiastic and I love the book, but I did not be into Solomon. That's why I know it had to be in the Ruach wanting me to understand the spirit of Solomon. So as he allowed me to understand, the first thing Yah allowed me to understand about Solomon, the first thing, it wasn't that his wives, because with that I was confused. But when you really see it in spirit and truth, you know, all this that everybody talking about, they're so far from what was really going on. They so far from it. Okay, but the Most High taught me one thing first before I got anywhere near understanding Solomon. Guess what that was? He said, you go to Matthew's chapter 1. I get to Matthew's. He said, I want you to master every name. And what he means is take every name down. David, Abraham, Isaac, all of them. All the way down to Yeshua and to Hamashiach. When you bring them on down, I want you to go back in it, look their names up in Hebrew. And in the Hebrew, it's going to hold their spiritual purpose from me in them. He said, Deborah, those were my seeds. Those were my seeds. Solomon was found in his as Yah's seed. So it's nothing nobody on this earth could say to Sister Deborah who Solomon is. And that's what Yah started off teaching me. And that's 2 years ago. He said, you study those in there, and then you look their name up in Hebrew, and you'll see their spiritual purpose from the heaven. Not from the earth, but from the heaven. And what he called them. It's so beautiful. And as I was looking, I was like, wait a minute, some of them ain't in here. He said, if they ain't in there, they're not the seed, Deborah. I said, oh, okay. I said, Solomon up in there. I said, okay. And then when you look it up in Hebrew, and then you see, and if you read what it means, and then if you're in the spirit, Yah will let you see who they were in him. They were his seed that was sunk down here strictly. You see? So that helped me to embrace the whole book of Ecclesiastics and seeing the hope in Solomon in the eyes of Yah. You know, so that now I know that Solomon is and was the seed of my father. So that's all that's important to me. It's not so much important of how man perceived him and his wives, because it wasn't what they see. You see what I'm saying? It's out of order. Now, can they say what Solomon had, if they're seeing they totally out of order today? No, they can't. They cannot tell you nothing about nobody in the Bible because they're not walking up right and in righteous. So in Ecclesiastes chapter 12, Solomon says this, verse 9. And moreover, because the preacher was wise, that's spiritual wise, okay? He still taught the people knowledge. You see that? That knowledge was spirit. Y'all asked him what he want. He said wisdom and knowledge. So Yah gave him wisdom in the spirit and knowledge in the spirit. And here it says what it says. Listen to it, y'all. So that's why. So when you hear men talking about Solomon did this, he did this, he went away from God. Listen to this. This is what Solomon continued. Verse 9. Moreover, because the preacher was wise, he had spiritual wisdom, and still taught the people knowledge, spiritual knowledge, yet he gave good heat. You see that? And sought out and set in order many proverbs. You see what I'm saying? He still was doing the work of the Most High Yah. Because that wisdom and that knowledge, he couldn't escape. It was spirit and it was truth. He couldn't escape that, no matter how many so-called wise as these ignorant, sick men today call them. He couldn't escape it. Now, out of all that he didn't have, y'all, he still was nailing the mission of Yah. Now, watch this here. In verse 10, the preacher sought to find out acceptable words. See, he was still working that thing, y'all. Now, see, when Solomon said, when I heard that the preacher sought to find out acceptable words, that's how I am. trying to understand, okay, Father, you showed me this, you showed me that, you showed me this. How can you bring this down to a people that you're pointing right and they're going left? How could you? So even with Solomon was a struggle. Watch what it says in verse 10. The preacher sought to find out the acceptable words. That which was written was upright. Okay? Even the words of truth. He sought it. So he didn't want to give nobody nothing that was what? Spirit and truth. That wasn't spirit and truth. I love that. I love that. He sought it out. Make sure that he didn't give nobody nothing that was not spirit and truth. The word of truth, which is spirit and truth. You see, the word is Yah, and the word was Yah. The word of truth. Yah is a spirit. He is truth. You see? Verse 11. The word of the wise are a gall, and as snails fastened by the master of assembly. Hallelujah. Which are given, hear that word given? Which are given from one shepherd. We know who that shepherd is. We know who that shepherd is. You see, but it's given. What is, Deborah? Upright, even the word of truth, the words of a wise, and that's anybody that has that wise, that's the wisdom, that spirit. No, yeah, you have the flesh wisdom. That's who teaches people on these platforms. And that's why people can't find their way. Because they hear these people and it sounds good. It makes sense. Oh, they precept them. They show them all these different books. They show them their verse after verse after verse. And all they doing is feeding the flesh to come on one accord to what they're saying. And the people still lost without a cause in spirit and truth. They still don't have spirit and truth connected to the whole message. Okay, now, here it is. He says, verse 10, the preacher sought to find out acceptable words, and that which was written was upright, even words of truth. Verse 11, and the words of the wise are as galls and as snails fastened by the master of assemblies, which are given, direct given, from one shepherd. Okay, verse 12, and further, by these, my son, be admonished of making many books. There is no end. Let's see that. And what do you think that the Hebrew Israelite men are doing today? They bring in so many books into everything. They insert so many books. Oh, this missing, this missing, this missing, this missing, this missing. We will add this back. We will add this back. This will say this. Do you all want me to tell y'all something about this very powerful, about all the books that was taken out? Want me to tell you something that you never gave it a thought? Now one of those books leads you to the Most High Yah. Now one of those books direct you to the light. Now one of them books that they said it was taken out leads you to the light, nor direct you to the light. Now one of those books can tell you who the right hand is in the stretched out arm. Now one of these books can tell you that. But these men chases all these different books that's been taken out, and none of them have power. What good is it if it doesn't carry the power that rests therein? You see? So here Solomon says, verse 12 and 12 of Ecclesiastes, and further, by these, my son, be admonished for making many books. There is no end. He's even telling us, even when you make books, people are right today. Just okay, let's set an example. People on this devil platform have been on here for years. They making message after message after message after message. It's no different than making books because they're feeding you, and there's no end. And you notice that they're still chasing a number of subscribers. They're still chasing a like to the point they feeding you trash and you eating it like you're getting a full meal deal. But you're getting it out of the trash can. You ain't getting it out of spirit and truth. And then when someone's teaching spirit and truth, everybody finds some error to say that this person ain't. But that's what Yah suffer you to do. That's what Solomon is saying. It doesn't matter, Deborah. It's all vanity and vexation and all kind of evil spirits. That's why he made me go back to Genesis chapter 6, verse 5, so I understand why it says several times in the New, it's going to be like the days of Noah. What's going to lead up to that? You go to Genesis chapter 6 and verse 5. Everything he saw was evil. The thoughts of their hearts was evil continually. That means non-stop. That's where we at today. And that's, in the sad part, that's how I feel as a prophetess in the wilderness this day. That's how bad it is. Okay, now he says here, listen to where he says, verse 12 and 12 of Ecclesiastes, chapter 12 of 12, chapter 12 and verse 12, and further, by these, my son, be acknowledged of many books. There is no end. It really is not. And what does it take you then if it's no end? Off a cliff somewhere. That's why I say people can make these videos, 5 or 6 videos a day. Month after month, year after year after year. There's no end outside of a cliff. It's no end. They making message after message after message because they chasing numbers. They chasing a check. They chasing your life. They chasing your praise. What is y'all getting out of all of it? What glory? Why are we glorifying and honoring him? Why? What are those messages leading you into? What is it leading? Is it taking you straight to the light? Is it taking you to Yeshua HaMashiach, so you know who HaMashiach is? So HaMashiach can usher you up into the spirit of the Ruach HaKodesh with his great power? Oh no, they ain't gonna tell you that. But you're praising and you let me just get off of that. Let me get off of that. He says there's no end on verse 12. And much studying. See that? Listen to this. And much study is a wearisomeness of the flesh. 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 Much what? Study is of the flesh. It's a wearisomeness. Weariness of the flesh. You see? So all this study they be doing and trying to bring you to something, that's why they flesh. It's not good for all of that. So what they do, they find topics and issues to bombard your mind. And then now they really become good to you. But it's all about what's the last word? That flesh. Sister Deborah been telling y'all that. You ain't feeding nothing but your flesh. Your spirit is anorexia. And it's trying to stand before the Most High Yah. Anorexia. And anorexia. I think I said that right. But that is true. You have to laugh to keep from crying on reality. That is spirit and truth. Okay. And like he said, it's all coming after the flesh. Because it knows it can wear on the flesh and get the flesh to believe any and everything. And everybody jumping up, going, ooh, I'm going to hear what the person going to say. Ooh, I like it. How long are you going to feed your flesh and let your spirit starve? How long? It's up to you. And I ain't meaning it's up to your choice. Verse 13, Ecclesiastes chapter 12, verse 13, and it says, let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear Yah and keep his commandments, for this is the whole duty of man. The whole duty of man. 14. And Yah, first of all, let's go back up there. Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear Yah. Fear Yah. Do you really believe you can fear Yah? Right now, people tell you the whole world thinks that Yah is not a creator that will send anyone to a place called damnation. They say that's not who he's made up of. No, that's not him. Fear is a gift of the Most High Yah. You can't even work yourself nowhere into that. You can't read your Bible 24/24. You can't be on your knees praying and begging. Nothing. It's a spirit that Yah gives you. And if you study in your Bible, you'll find it there. It'll tell you the spirit of fear is a gift of Yah. So that 13, let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear Yah. Because if Yah put in you the spirit of fear and keep his commandment, how's you keeping his commandment? When the Ruach is in you, he is Yah. He is the commandment. He is the commandment. He uphold his commandment in you. Because he know your flesh ain't about nothing. It can't hold an apple in his hand. Okay? And he says, for this is, he said, fear Yah, keep the commandments. And this is the whole duty of man. The duty of man. How can man get fear if it's not given to him by Yah? How can man hold the commandments in his flesh? Can. So there, you see duty, it's smeared. Because you can't get the fear of God, which is, I say the fear of Yah, which is the fear of God as it's written, but you can't just get that. That's a gift of God, of Yah. It's a gift from him. And as you read and study to show thyself, you will see him saying fear is a gift from Yah. That's why he said, I didn't give you a spirit of fear, but a sound mind. Because the spirit that he's giving you is fear, but not fear of the flesh. You see? I didn't give you the spirit of fear. That means the spirit that I have, you have from me, is a spirit of fear, which is a gift from Yah. But he said, I didn't give you the spirit of fear, but of a sound mind. His fear is of a sound mind. And that's the way you can tell the difference between the spirit of fear, the gift of Yah, and the fear of man. Always remember what I told you. Everything is in two. One for the spirit and one for the flesh. You have to be able to discern the two. Okay? Now, here he said in verse 14, for Yah shall bring every work unto judgment, with every secret thing, whether it is good or whether it is evil. He's going to break all that stuff down. Wait till you stand before him. That's why I say, I ain't going to be too up in or trying to get to know New Jerusalem. Just wake me up when it's time to be judged, Father, and I want to see the new Jerusalem. I ain't too up on what I mean. I'm not looking for the new the promised land. That's what I meant. I'm not too all ready. Come on, put on my coat and shoes and boots, and I'm going to the promised land. No. I want to see Yahuwah, the one that died for me, Yeshua, and I want to see the New Jerusalem. That's it. So Solomon, I appreciate him tonight. I appreciate him tonight. I appreciate him last night and this morning. And we did some praying yesterday faithfully. I feel we were faithful in what we said we were going to do. And I did get a revelation on one of the situations. I did get the revelation on one of the situations. So, sister, I'm going to leave my number if you want me to further the revelation that the Most High had given me about mother-in-law. I could also share that with you. I have that at the bottom of the message, down at the bottom, where you can give me a call if you would like, and I can share with you what he has given me. And I want to say something to each and every last. We have to really have a true trust in the Most High God. We have to trust Him in the midst. You know how the Hebrew boys was in the fire furnace. You know how, and do you just trusting that no matter, that's their whole mindset. And it is so beautiful because they were trusting him, not thinking, not caring if it was the end in the sight of man. They didn't care. We going in here, we ain't finna fuss with you, we ain't finna fight, we ain't finna argue, because if he keep us, he keep us. If he don't, he don't. Hallelujah. And what they mean, it don't stop here. If you take me here, it's just for a second, a moment. Because this don't everything don't end in that fire furnace. So they already knew that that's that spiritual faith. That's that spiritual faith. You know, even if you do or if you don't, we know that you can. I love that. So, and that's where we also have to find ourselves in this day and time. And we really better be very careful with these so-called people who have been in the media and misleading us, or trying to get us to turn to them as somebody that the Most High is bringing them forth toward us. We sitting under the word of the Most High Yah. We're sitting up under the teaching of the Ruach HaKodesh. We are sitting up under his wisdom, his knowledge, and his understanding. We are sitting up under his faith and his endurance. For someone to just come out of the world and say Yah has given the ultimate position to them, you better watch yourself. It's kind of remind me of something where he said they're going to be in the field and they're going to say, come, he's out in the field. Yeshua is out in the field. Let's go. He's out there. He said, don't believe him. And that's, you have to, let me tell y'all something. You have to really be careful, because I'm going to tell y'all, when you really don't understand who Yeshua is and who Hamashiach is, which is the one they call Jesus, and the one they call Christ. If you don't know the two as one, or don't know them, you should know them as one, and you should also get to know them as two. Okay? Because once you get to know them at two, you'll begin to see your Most High Yah right hand power. You'll begin to see how he rumbled from the beginning, how everything was created. You see, how everything has the beginning to the end wrapped in him. But when you only understand it the way many have taught you, based on their flesh wisdom, their flesh knowledge, and their flesh understanding, then you just stuck there. You see, but Yah is willing to take you higher and higher in him, in his understanding, and it's so simple and so easy, so beautiful, and it makes everything line up, everything become balanced. And what what Solomon is saying to me about everything is vanity and vexation. He wants me to know, which is evil. All is evil. If you go to Genesis and you see chapter 6, verse 5, you will see where Yah conclusion was, where did he get this a whole thing that was going on? How did he sum it up? He summed it up by saying, I saw. This is what I saw from heaven. Their thoughts, every thoughts were wicked and evil. Continually. So we have to take that and swing Genesis 6 and 5 over to the new and go to, I think it's 3 times it's in there talking about the day of Noah. You got to drop it right there and start with Genesis 6 and verse 5 and place it in the new. So when you place that in the new, that's where we are today. That's where we are today. And a lot of us thinking that Yeshua is coming for the whole house of Israel. Yeshua is not coming for the whole house of Israel, y'all. First of all, not one human being on the face of this earth can tell you who the whole house of Israel is. I'm going to be honest with you. They can't. They're assuming, they're manipulating and deceiving many. None of it can tell them. But I can tell you one thing. When Yeshua comes to collect what belongs to him, guess what? It's going to have something to do with his blood in you. And I'm not talking about the bloodline of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. I'm talking about the spiritual. I'm talking about the spiritual. And that's what people don't understand. This thing is spirit, and it is true. That's why when people sit and talk about stuff, I use what he tell me. It was a time, he really was. He said, Deborah, why are you asking me that? Why do you want me to tell you this? It rests in you. What do you mean you wondering why they doing this and why? Why are you asking that? Try the spirit by the spirit. Just take your spirit and apply it to that spirit, whether it's a group, somebody on YouTube, a pastor, a bishop, no matter. Try their spirit by the spirit in which is in you. And see who's who and what's what. That's what many people don't even understand what is the spirit of discerning is. Do y'all understand what the spirit of discerning is? 99.9 does not. It is a spirit to let you know evil and good. It's to break that thing in the spirit, what is evil and what is good. And the spirit of discerning is not something that really takes really a lot of hold on the flesh. It's when the flesh is so evil and wicked to the spirit of that individual is wicked and evil. You're going to have those tools. Yah is not going to have you walking in him without these certain tools. You think he's going to have you walking in him with no tools to use? No, he's going to give you. He said, if it was so, it very elect. And the reason why they ain't going to be fooled, because I invested too big. That's it. That's what he's saying. He says what he says and he means what he says. He's about what he says. So let me read a few. Peace. Hallelujah. Yes. Hallelujah. I did pray. Hallelujah. Yes. 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 Mother-in-law. Hallelujah. Luke 10 and 5 through 12. Yes, yes. So I'm gonna leave that below so you can get that information. Okay. And I appreciate it. And if you want to touch base with me, and then we can just I can give you pretty much what he gave me. And to me, The way Yah does things, if we start to see him and really who he is and who his right hand is, we'll understand how beautiful he is in every way. The things that we look at, and this is what Solomon it was pretty much trying to help me with. Deborah, even though you see the things and the things that's going in the world, yes, the Father is allowing you to see it. Just as he gave me that wisdom and knowledge and understanding, Deborah, he was allowing me to see it too. See all the crap under the sun. Yeah, that's what Solomon was saying. So I know exactly where you're coming from, even in how you feel, where you are at today. I'm not there, but I know. And this is why he tells me the things that he tells me. How do he tells me this? Through the Ruach HaKodesh. He suffered his experience to minister to my spirit. So I can get this thing like he did. You see? I can understand it and feel it. But through the Ruach, we allowed to connect that way. But the Ruach is the connector, you know. So when he's letting me know that, he was just telling me, stop worried about these people understanding the beast, the mark, the 666, the chip, all this stuff that's right in their face. It's been in there. It's been before their faces. It's been before us all these years. He said they turning away from the right to the left because they think the left is going to supply them what they see and believe, what they hear and believe. And they're seeing in their fleshly eyes, hearing in their fleshly ears, that they may believe something, that they may receive something, and they may understand something. They are total balance. And Yah is not coming to move nothing. Everything is fault. Because we're in that day that was spoken in the other day, we're there. And because of it, and it still have not changed even the people that have gotten and have been shown so much to make a difference in others. We were to be so the light for others, and we have always been the darkness, no matter what. If Yah said, Deborah, I'm going to take you over here to this lake. And when you get in this lake, it's going to be a crocodile in this lake. But I'm going to take you over there and I'm going to drop you in there where all those crocodiles are at. And for me to stand there and deny that he said he's going to take me there and he's going to drop me in there after I know I didn't heard him. He told me, and that's where I ended up being. And I know I didn't get there myself. This is how, to me, people don't understand that coming over to this land was a form of a punishment. He could have did something way worse, like he did back in the days of Noah. He could have ended a whole nation. He could have ended not Abraham's, but Jacob's 12 tribes at a blink of an eye. He could have did it that way. He could have did it, and it would have been all right. And no one would have missed not one of them. Y'all can do that. That's how I see him, greater and beyond what we think we know, what we think we believe, and how we feel. He's beyond all that and some. So the Most High brought us over here, and we were to understand why we came over here. And in understanding why we came over here, we are to embrace why he did it. We are to love on him for what he did and why and cause he did it. That's what it was all about. So you can't wake up and be awakened and know who you are without knowing spirit and truth. The spirit and the truth of the matter of where and who you are and why you were you at. But no, they rather hear the conclusion of a man's study, of his own flesh wisdom, of his own flesh knowledge, and of his own fleshly understanding. but in spirit and truth. We know those why we're here, what brought us here, what caused us to get here, and for us to deny everything around us in the last 400 and some odd years has been something human beings have done to us. He told us. What happened is, y'all, I'm going to tell y'all something. I'm going to give you a little power. I'm going to give you a power punch. The reason why the Hebrew Israelites don't want to walk in spirit and truth and tell the truth, especially our men, is because they want to deceive you. They want to live a lie, to blame someone else, just like they did in the Garden of Eden. That woman you gave me, they blamed who? First who? Yah. That woman you gave me, and then after him, who did they blame? Woman. That's how they are today. They feel they can't blame Yah, but they want to blame the secondary, which is woman. They're still the same. They're no different. Yah wanted us to learn from his mighty hand, his correction, his chastising, his cursing. Learn from it, then grab him by the legs and say, thank you, Father. Thank you for your judgment. Thank you for your correction. Why? Because if we grab him by the legs and say, Father, we thank you for your judgment. We thank you for your correction. We thank you for your chastising. We thank you for the curse. What do we say? I'm sorry. I'm for you. I'm going with you. You see? Instead, they brought us over here. They did this to us. They did that. They did that. And then the biblical word in Ezekiel sitting here telling you everything that you have done in the promised land is why I brought you to this land. Likened to the things you were doing there, you're going to go to a land likened to you, which is your ways. Nobody wants to even question these people on this Deborah platform teaching. So Solomon said, forget it, Deborah. Don't give these people anything. You wasting too much of your energy and your spirit. Speak spirit and truth to those who can hear. But those who are full of wax, those who cannot see, let them go. He said, I did it. I had to. And that's what he's bringing to me. And then when he said, go to Genesis chapter 6 and verse 5, it made me look at the fact that why didn't in the days, the last evil days, why didn't it tell you why Noah? What was going on back in the days of Noah? It's going to be like the days of Noah. Then it covered certain things. But come on, tell me why was it like that? Tell me why was they doing these things? It was covered because they were evil and wicked. Every thought, imagination was evil and wicked continually. So they feel if we can erase that and get away from that, we don't have to add that to it. And they've been living it. Because we can put in polygamy. We can put in all these other ways. We can still ride on hate and murder. That's why they can't correct anybody. That's why you don't see these men on the highways and byways ministering to their brothers that's selling drugs. That's selling all kind of drugs. That's out here doing all kind of crime amongst their own kind. You don't hear not one on this devil platform saying, I'm on the highway and byway. I'm out here trying to steer my brothers the right way. I'm trying to get them on the right track. I'm going to be out here day and night, night and day. I'm going to be out here year after year after year until I bring these brothers in to the light. Show them the way to the light. Show them how to get into your household, work with your children, work with your family. Because the ignorance of the men didn't even know their children were gifts. For what, Deborah? To take care of them in the long run. You see how crazy that is? You see how they missed out? So when you look at a generation where sons is not doing anything but all out here killing one another, because the whole idea of you being in that house was to represent a leader. And when you felt fit that you didn't want to be where you should have been, as long as you sitting and producing, dropping your seed all over the place, but not sitting nowhere to see that your seed love on the Most High Yah. But now, it's over, y'all. It's over. These days in which we are in and trying to pretend and make to be something. I just thank the Most High for Solomon. I'm gonna say that again. I thank the Most High for allowing His Ruach to take me through this here with Solomon, because it leads me. I'm gonna tell y'all. I talked to you all about Genesis 6, 1 and all the way down to 5, but I never saw it until Solomon shared it with me. And the reason why he shared it with me, he wanted me to know that that's how it was with him when he was taught by the Ruach. Okay, how was he taught? Yah gave him wisdom and knowledge and understanding to know all under the sun. So it wasn't nothing short. And what did he do with it? Throughout that Ecclesiastes, he let you tell you he was teaching it to the people. And he began to see, even in him sharing it and giving it in its purest form, they wasn't getting it. They wasn't getting it. They didn't want it. They weren't taking heed to it. They weren't taking it in. So he began to say, wait a minute, what is this evil that I see? I'm feeling. I'm beholding. What is going on? You see? So it's like that, this thing. And if any of you all really go back and you read Genesis chapter, you can go to 1 to 5. But when you hit 5, it tells you why and how powerful he felt about 1 and 4. And they run around here talking about wives. We can have this and we have that. That cuts all up in that mess. But they would never see it like that. And don't blame people. This is what Solomon explaining to me. Don't blame people because they cannot see, Deborah. If they cannot see, it's because y'all didn't give them the eyes to see. Deborah, if they cannot hear, because y'all ain't giving them the eyes to hear. So say and speak the power of Yah. Even if it's to the wind, Yah will see to it that it gets to where he knows. He that has an ear. I love that. I love that. I love, because it makes you stop feeling that, oh, I got to speak this and I got to speak this. I got to speak this. I got to speak this. I got to warn them here. No. They didn't take the warning of nothing Yah has said from Genesis to Revelation. Isn't that sad? That is really sad. They have not taken the warnings or the prophecies of anything from Genesis to Revelation. Because had they taken it serious or taken it for what it is, which is upright and righteousness and spirit and truth, they would have applied it to where people would understand fully over here, because we have disobeyed the Creator who had chosen us before the foundation of the world to be his children. And we have failed on all corners. So what's now? So with me, I have to understand all power is in him. It's in everything is in his hand. This V, this mark, this 666, this biochemical, this testing they finna pour out, these pills they about to give, everything is still in God's hand. In what way do you say it? A lot of people do not understand. There's things Yah is not coming to deliver you out of. He said in Matthew 24, they shall kill you. We miss it. We think ain't nothing gonna happen to us. We think we got it going on. We finna go to the promised land. And I'm gonna tell y'all something that's really booming. It's booming big time. And it's this conscious community. These Negro men and this Hebrew Israelite is dropping that and going into this conscious it's what is it? Conscious community. It's a thing that really downsize Yah and upsize the evil and wicked and put and make the word a lie. Let's put it like that. It really is. And they don't have no problem. Been in the Hebrew for 15 years and erasing everything that was true, erasing it and turning it. I think they're calling it a conscious community. A lot of them going, majority of black men going into that way. Majority of them are going into that way. Let me cover this here and I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to show y'all something here. I'm just going to show you something. I'm going to show you something. And this is why I say that it's nothing I can say anymore. So I'm not going to be coming to you all trying to make no one see anything. Everything has been seen. You know, everything is what it is. It is finished. Just like I always tell everybody, it's finished. He don't need you and he don't need me to make nothing complete. It is finished. It was way back and it's still finished. We sitting around here waiting for Babylon to come down. We don't got sense enough to know Babylon already fallen. It's just a debris that's got to come down. And you better think about what he said in Revelation. I think it's in 18. When the angel gonna throw that thing in the water and it's gonna take this here whole country off the map. People would tell me, wait a minute, Sister Deborah, 28 years ago, you was on a mountain talking that. I sure was. That this country is gonna be bumped off the map. To me, I can't see it being to the point where everybody thinking it's going to. I think when the other country's going to see it on fire, I think they're going to see that and they're going to notice it tells you about how they're going to be feeling. So they're not going to be the one that's trying to destroy or destroying us because they don't have emotions tied up based on what they were trading and they were working to get what they have gotten. But I think it's going to be a little bit deeper. It's going to be the fact that, oh, look what didn't happen. And I think they're going to see something that they had never seen before happen, ever. And it's going to be like out of their control because you would have thought Russia would have dropped the bomb or China would have dropped something. No, it's not going to be that way. Y'all, angel is going to drop something into the sea and it's going to destroy this country. Take us off the map. You understand? And this is the verses in Isaiah chapter 3. The part of the purging the women was also Isaiah chapter 3 verse 25. Thy men. Now when he said thy men, he's actually telling us these men belong to us. These are men that belong to us. Thy men, thy brother, thy uncle, thy grandfather, thy father, thy son, thy grandchild, thy husband. 25 of Isaiah 3. Thy men shall fall by the sword, and the mighty men in the war. They're going down. They're going down. So all this thing that you all are boosting and putting them up high, making them somebody special, trying to reach a level that does not require you to reach that level in this land of your captivity. And that is a leader, a king, a ruler. He have this land. We were to see the issue we were going through, and we are to find him. We are to find the light. Not all these positions we trying to get. Not all these praise and glorified on these devil platforms. But we were to find the light. You'll think after you done lived 400 years in the darkness, you'll at least be trying to look for some light. But they ain't looking for no light. They still walking in darkness and constantly saying someone's bothering them. It's over. It is over. And I just thank the Most High for allowing Solomon to instill that in me, because it's over. We ain't seeking his light. All that he done gave us and done for us, and we still walking here past 400 years being naive, ignorant. People are still saying the same thing. They studied every book that's been taken out. Every book they studied this Hebrew from Genesis to Revelation in Hebrew and have mastered the Torah and still cannot see the overall of why we're still here. And because we're still cutting up from the floor worse than where we got here. See, He was saying that he was taking us to a land like unto the ways that we were performing on the land that he gave us, that polluted the land and caused the land to be desolated. And we were just evil thinking, evil action, and evil doing 24/24. So I tell you what, let me send you to a land that can match you, can meet you at your match. You this and you that here on this land that I gave you. Come on here. I'm going to send you to a land that's going to cause you to meet your match. And that's where we at. And that's why. And when we got over here, we still didn't learn anything. We still didn't learn anything. That's why he's going to do some cleaning. He's going to do some cleaning of filth. New heart, and he called it a flesh. I like him saying that because when he said a new heart of flesh, I said, okay, that's more like it. Because these people really thinking because they go into the promised land, at least they a small remnant, that okay, I made it to the New Jerusalem. No, baby, the promised land is not the New Jerusalem. No. So a lot of you all think it is. Oh, the promised land is all this. That's how messed up their minds are. Their minds are messed up that bad. So they looking for the promised land as if they want to charge Yah to keep his word of what Abraham, he promised Abraham, and they haven't kept a darn thing. Not one commandment in respect. Not one. But they want Yah to uphold his promise. Oh, he's about what he say. He say what he about. He don't do his part. He ain't worried about you. You see? Because he already said, I just got a small remnant. And he said, hey, Ezekiel. Yeah, what do you think about these dry bones? You think these dry bones can live? He got to bring the dry bones back. He's going to ship them over there to the New Jerusalem, not to the promised land. You see? He don't need you. And that's why we messed up. And that's why we're all in all kind of ways. You can't even work with these men. You can't get them to see no righteousness. You can't get them to see no justice. Solomon said, Deborah, I told you. And that's why I'm here tonight just to say to you, I just thank the Most High for his Ruach HaKodesh and how he used everyone in this book that has walked as the seed to really help me understand this whole thing. Because I told y'all once before, I probably would be in the straitjacket and ask them, wait a minute, do you got more than one? Don't put me in one straitjacket. Put me 2 or 3 of them. Put it on me. That's how cuckoo I would be. But by his grace and his mercy, his loving kindness, and who he is and who he stands for, I love how he teach me who his right hand is. I love how he's shown me who Hamashiach is. He's shown me who Yeshua is. You see? So I would know the both when they one and when they are separate. I just thank him for who he is all by himself. Not needing no man, no woman to make him who he is. And that's where the weakness is at in these 12 tribes. And like I told you yesterday, no one think we are all this Negro people, the tribe of Judah is always hooping and hollering about 12 tribes, 12 tribes, 12 tribes. But wait a minute. Why is it Jacob didn't feel the way we hooping and hollering about the 12 tribes? Our own Jacob didn't feel that way. Listen to what he said before he died. Nobody wants to do that. They want to hear these men on this earth tell them who they are. But they ain't going to hear what the forefather that was one of the seeds of the Most High Yah thought about us as a people. Because we were his 12. But he didn't give that good mark on us. No, he did not. He did not put no good mark on us. And we too ignorant to even see that. But if we couldn't see Yah, I don't see how we're going to see Jacob. You won't hear the men ever teaching what Jacob was saying to his son, his 12. If you hear what he was saying, it wasn't good. For a man that was dying and want to put another blessing, he wasn't putting no blessing on them. He was telling you how ugly they were. Yes, he was. I know nobody don't want to read it. Nobody don't want to understand it like that. They want to understand it and read it and accept it in a way that pleases their flesh. So they want to reverse it and hear it from somebody that can flip it upside down and around. And that's it is so much. I'm just going to start asking the Most High to give me the strength to just embrace it all. Embrace it, Father. It's already in me to accept it. Help me in my outer man, which is my flesh, to embrace everything that is and was and shall be. To embrace it, and to embrace it not just in the spirit, but in my flesh. To say, Deborah, it's nothing you can preach on these platforms, it's nothing you can teach on these platforms, it's nothing you can reveal on these platforms. It's over. And that's how it really is. It is over. Because you can't teach no more than what you've already given. You can sit on this platform and you can dance with people and talk to people and all this other stuff. It don't mean anything. People are looking for them and their selves. They're not looking for the light of the Most High Yah. Those that will receive it, but those who do not receive it, keep it going. Keep it going. Because Sister Deborah is in a race. It is a race. And when he gave me them 2 visions of me in the race, that second one came around. And no, it was 3. Because that third one came around. I'm running this race and I'm feeling good and I'm happy. And I can feel I'm at the finish line. And let me tell you, a small voice, quiet voice said to me, Deborah, look to your left. I said, no, I'm not looking back. I'm almost there. And I'm just running and running. And he said, no, look to your left. You're gonna make it. You're on the right track. I said, no, but if I look, I'm not gonna make it. He said, go on, you can look. And I did this shit. Wow. Woo! And that girl started going faster and faster because I realized that the brick wall, to achieve a level of understanding in Yah, the brick wall that was in my life, I have passed it up. See, at first I was running into it, busting my kneecaps, and having to start the race over again. And running into it and busting my kneecap require you running your mouth, thinking your mouth gonna change that brick wall. Your mouth ain't gonna change that brick wall because the brick wall can't hear, nor can it see. Furthermore, it don't move. So why are you running into that brick wall and wounding your kneecap? Don't you see the brick wall? Learn to go around the brick wall, Deborah. Learn to go over the brick wall. But stop running into that brick wall. Because when you run into the brick wall, your journey stops there, Deborah. So stop arguing and fussing with a brick wall that can't respond. Go around that brick wall. Climb over that brick wall. But find a way, Deborah, to go around it or climb over it. But stop running into the brick wall. You're slowing your race down. Came to me a third time, same vision. Still running into the brick wall. No, the second time. Still running into the brick wall. But that third time, this sister girl was running in that bitch. Woo! I was getting. And he said, that boy said, Deborah, look on the left side of you. No, I can't look. I can't afford to. I'm almost there at the finish line. And I can feel myself running. And it felt so good. And all of a sudden he said, no, look on the left and you'll be okay. No, if I look, I'm going, no, look on the left. Look back there. Wait a minute. That brick wall way back there. Boom. I was gone. Because I realized that in life, there are brick walls set before us that causes us to keep having to fall, tumble, get back up and start all back over. That's why I know that our steps has been ordered by God. You go up them steps, you go to the first one, the second one, the third one, the fourth one. Hey, wait a minute, when you get to the fourth one, you go back down to the third one. Why? Because you missed what the third one was, the lesson on the third step. Anytime you can't get it, you got to remain until you get it. You can't go to the next level. So where we are at in this world today and the things that's going on, we got to know we got to go on and run on. We don't care if mama not behind us. We don't care if daddy not behind us. We don't care if brother, sister, cousin, uncle, children, nobody. We got to run this race. What Paul said, I fought a good fight. I finished my course. He ran the race. And we have to get this thing like it is a race. It's a race to our spirit. And we're trying to we're trying to make it to the finish line, even though we're trying to make it through the flesh, and we don't even understand. The spirit said, you already won. What have you done? You already done won. What are you doing? Because flesh got you thinking you ain't nobody and nowhere. But y'all tell you, quit. You didn't won. You already done got the victory through me. So, whoa. You see? But I just thank him so much for being who he is all by himself. Going to that. I thank the Most High Yah for being so great, so excellent, so wonderful, so perfect, so good, so kind, so merciful, so all knowing, so powerful. Ooh, I thank him for being the beginning and the end. I thank him for being all that he is all by himself. He don't even need Sister Deborah. And I thank him for being who he is. And yes, Father, Yah, you are the I am. And I love you for being all that you are. So Sister Deborah she didn't held you all pretty a pretty long time. And the thing about it that really is very disturbing is when you know that you have the spirit of discernment and you can discern. People would just come around just enough to find some error, something that ain't sound right, something that don't feel right, something they think that ain't right. And it don't matter. Not with Sister Deborah anymore. I really think I'm going to do something different. Being so solemn that gave me the whole overall of the matter, and being so the Most High through His Ruach have opened me up to accept that it is be there for people. My calling is really required, and he was dealing with me last night. The Most High was regarding being there for people. People got questions. They want to ask you something. They want to talk to you about something. Be there to just be an ear. Give an ear. And if anyone need anything, just be there to give. Be that give and gave. You know, that's the true identity of Yah's love. And anything else, don't try to think that you owe people the things that's going on in the world, because not only do you see it natural, you see it spirit. And if Yah hasn't opened their eyes to see it spirit, they still walking in darkness because they only can see it natural. So you can't give someone that's blind their sight. That's really what he's saying. You can't give a deaf man his hearing. Only one can do that is Yah and Yah himself. And we would then give him all glory and honor. Because right now, it's over. The judgment of the Most High is in the midst of the tribe of Judah. And even though the tribe of Judah, I don't know, I can't even, this is something very powerful, what I'm about to say. I have not heard, not one Hebrew so-called Israelite movement talk about the other tribes doing nothing. You don't hear them, you don't see them. You don't see nothing, nor do you hear anything of them and how they're serving our Creator and worshiping Him. If we don't communicate in any way, when it comes down to the spirit, we should be able to connect to them in spirit and truth. But you don't see it nowhere. Think about that, you all. You don't see it. They don't connect. And I would want them to connect with the tribe of Judah right now, no way. I mean, they swimming in a lot of wickedness at its highest, evil at its highest. And if you can't deal with your own nation, how dare you even call out any other nation? How dare you? So I, Sister Deborah, would say I thank everyone in the live chat from coming, and I appreciate you all. And uh, how would I say it? And I will be back again. And I'm gonna leave my number in the lower box. I think it down in the bottom, where if you want to contact me regarding the prayer that we have yesterday in Revelation that he did give me. I think that'll be wonderful. And I will say that I will be back. And what is something that was really strange? Charles, I was married to him for 31, going on 32 years. And he came to me today with this here look. It was so strange. He said, "Are you going live?" I said, "Yeah, I'm going live." He said, "What did God tell you? What do he want you to talk about? What are you going to talk about today?" And I was like, "Wow, he asked me that 3 times today." I'm like, "What is that about?" Never did. He asked it like he was really wanting to know what is it that the Most High is giving me today. And I was like, but today I turned 60 years old. Yes, that's a blessing. Uh, I'm gonna take me also. I'm gonna go take me a portfolio. Um, take a portfolio, not portfolio. I'm gonna go ahead and take me a me picture, a picture of me the way I feel I want to look. Um, and that's what I'm gonna do for myself. Uh, but I thank the Most High for uh, uh, blessing me to be able to reach this age. I really thank Him for that, and I can actually let me tell y'all what else happened. My mother had 7 kids. Okay, one time did I hear my mother say "Happy Birthday" today, and I know she only did it because all my siblings and out of town, and my children that's out of town, and my children, everybody. I know all her children told her, it's Booby's birthday, it's Booby's birthday. My mom called me and said, "Happy birthday." My birthday is October the 2nd. Hers is October the 19th. I'm her only child that she does not call and say happy birthday. I'm telling you. I'm not, but I just thank the Most High for her and how she has been, I say, the best mother ever. Uh, 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 and I thank the Most High for her. And I told her, "Mom, I needed that. Thank you for doing that. I needed that because see what I see. Let me give y'all a little something that's very special. What I see is some closure. A lot of times people don't get the closure they need. What I see is how the Most High loves me till He want me to have some sort of closure. Uh, Things that I needed to know in case my mother sleep, I sleep, but some closure. And the closure is this. If she hadn't said that in 59 years, said 58 years, because she said it once, 59, and she says it, to me, that's closure. That's closure for me. You see, if y'all can take something for 59 years and give you closure in 1 minute, that's a blessing in itself. Um, a couple of weeks ago, I stopped by her house and we was just she telling me, "Come on, let's." Then we sat down and we talked and we talked and we talked. And I can tell something was bothering her. She wanted to tell me she had gotten the V, but I just the jab. I didn't go into it because if I go into it, I have to speak spirit and truth, and that's a problem with me. Is you take me there, I'm gonna go all the way. I don't go half cocked. Tell them so you don't hurt their feelings. Tell them so you don't hurt their emotion. No, it's time for spirit and truth. So I was glad that I didn't have to. She didn't mention it, so I would have to have taken her there. But we had a good conversation, and she said to me, all her life, no, not all her life, when she got into the church, which was like 30, 40 years ago, how uh, 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 she always believed that Yah always allowed uh, the blessing to come down to the seed. And pretty much how she broke it down, and she just smiled on her face. Y'all should have seen it. She said, I always knew it was you. She knew it. I knew it as a young girl. She knew. I already knew she knew. I knew that she knew, she knew. But that was closure. You see, that was closure. Now I already knew, but to for the Most High Yah to give us that moment where she tells me that I knew that you were the light out of the seven children. I knew you were. I already knew she knew, but I'm just saying it wasn't about me knowing already. It was about what Yah felt I needed, and that was closure. And I needed it. And when she said it, I felt good. And I didn't feel good to what a point where I felt boosted or uplifted or pride minded. It was like, thank you, Father Yah. In a sense, don't put it and make it something that it ain't. This is what you needed, and I gave it to you. So if anything ever happened, that I know that we have had that conversation, she always knew I was the light. So that's all that mattered. Nothing else mattered. Do you know how many people would love to have their uh, family members, their brothers, their fathers, their sister, or even their grandfathers, their uncles, or their neighbors, anybody to come back and say, I'm sorry for what I did. It was wrong, or I knew that you were going to be a special person in Yah or in God or whatever they want to say. The reason why I said it like that is because throughout my life, I have been the ear to hear people. And the cry is so thick and so heavy with issues that took place when people were little, like I was, and the things that they were experiencing in their household. And it's so deep, you would wonder, wait a minute, was the world built up on this? Yes, it was. This stuff didn't come by when we were born 80 years, 100 years ago.